Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In this video I'd like to look at how the ES unfolded yesterday, which was Thursday the 8th. I particularly want to do this because a lot of people say you can't pick tops and bottoms, they should only trade out the middle of trends. Well, I don't think that's the case. I think you can pick tops and bottoms as long as you have the correct tools and use the correct risk management. And yesterday on the ES was a perfect example of this. So I want to just step through this and just show you what we do at MTPredictor. This is using our MTP RT add-ons for NinjaTrader 7, which is what we got here. So here I have a chart of the 3-minute ES. This is before yesterday even opened, and you can see that I had a 15-minute decision point resistance area up on our chart here in advance. This is the important point. This was here before the market even opened. Later in the video I'll show you how I got that on this particular chart, but I just want you to run with this. So this is the circumstance we use when you're a bit more of an experienced trader. Newer MTPredictor users look at the STF colour for your large degree trend direction, but I just want to show you what our more experienced users do, in other words using our larger degree support and resistance areas on our higher time frame charts. And as you can see, this was on the 15-minute chart as we're looking at the 3-minute. So let's see what happened. The market opened yesterday. Not a lot happened. The market started to rally up. Nothing particularly going on there. We were close to the 15-minute resistance area, but not into it. The market started to back off a little bit and then started to rally again. Now this is when it starts to get interesting, because just watch what happens. Now we actually enter the 15-minute resistance area. So now you should start to get a little bit excited and say, okay, now I want to see what is happening at this larger degree area. In other words, if we're at larger degree resistance, therefore you can take a short position in this case at this on this 3-minute chart. Suddenly then we get a setup here. It's a history triangle at the moment because we're looking at it in replay mode. So what would have happened, you'd have had a sell setup here. If I place the analysis on, you can see it was a DP sell with the potential profit target at 3R, or 3 times the initial risk. Position sizing comes into effect to potentially sell 4 contracts to keep our initial risk less than 2% of a sample $20,000 account. Let's move forward. You're just taken in by literally a tick. You then come up and then you are stopped out again. I just want to show you this. So therefore you're stopped out. Market moves a little bit higher. Then lo and behold, we get 2 bars that are side by side. So nothing happens on this one. Then the next bar we get another sell setup. Now as you can see, this sell setup again is at our 15-minute resistance area. As such, the more experienced MTPredictor users could say, okay, this is now a good one to take because you're taking a shorter time frame trade at larger degree resistance. So let's place the analysis on here. This would have been a slightly better potential trade because the profit would have been 4.2R at the first target. So let's see how this unfolds. We go back down. We're now taken into a short trade. Let's just step this forward. Little corrective rally. Market starts to decline down, and then suddenly we actually hit our first target. So at this first target, you could have had a profit that was potentially 4.2 times greater than initial risk. That's great because our first losing trade was only 1R, or 1 initial risk unit. However, standard trade management guidelines say or tell us that when we hit our first target, we come down and look at our STF indicator here, and in particular we look at where it is in relation to our strength bands. These are our 2 grey lines on this indicator here. If it's beyond the strength band, we can say that the market's what we call strong, therefore it's likely to trend a bit further. Therefore we use our ATR stop, which is our blue and red dots here, to then trail the market a bit further. So this is strong, therefore we're looking to trail, so we use our red dots here. As you can see, the market corrects up a little bit, but then rolls over and carries on down, carries on down, carries on down, carries on down. All the time we'll be having our stop just 1 tick above this these red dots. If you're a NinjaTrader user, you can use the trade module. I'll just place the analysis on again so you can see it being filled into the trade module here. Oh, it's actually it's not going to work because I'm not connected to a real-time data source. But if you're connected to a real-time data source, then this will allow you to place the trade, and then also, more importantly, allow you to manage the trade. So here it will actually allow you to automatically move the stop 1 tick above the bar, or 1 tick above the ATR high, in this case as we're going down, and it will just do it all automatically for you. If I scroll down a bit, oh, sorry, I can't do that because again we haven't got real-time data in here at the moment. So anyway, let's keep moving forward. There we go, it goes down, 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 and then suddenly, so I'll go back one more bar here, I'll go back one more bar, and therefore it has stopped you out at this particular level here. But just look at the profit. The profit at this particular level was 9R, or 9 times greater than the initial risk. Let's take the trade module off there so we can have a look at the chart. And this is the beauty of this trade here, in that not only were we short from the high of the day, which is what I was looking or suggesting right at the start of the webinar, the video, but the profit was 9 times greater than the initial risk. So this turned an initial risk of approximately $375 US, 2% of a sample $20,000 US account, into just over 3,300. This is the beauty of using correct position sizing. If we scroll forward to the end of the day, there you go, you can see the market did come back up there a bit further. So here we were, short of pretty much the high of the day. So in other words, that answers my my first question: can you buy or sell at the day's extremes, or can you catch the day's highs or lows? So here we are, a clear example of catching the day's high absolutely perfectly, because the trade setup was at a higher time frame resistance. And if you want something even more spectacular, if I go back to this pivot high, you can see that if I do the Elliott wave intermediate, this was actually a 5-wave sequence going up here. This was the DP off the wave 4, and what we teach at MTPredictor is once you've exceeded the DP from the wave 4, you normally retrace the entire prior 5-wave sequence and go back to the DP from the start of the sequence. So the start of the sequence is here, so you'd have placed this DP on your chart, and there it would have been. Again, these are leading indicators on the chart in advance, and just look at this. The market goes down, it hits this DP level. So if you're really aggressive, you could say, right, I now want to just trail one tick perhaps above that bar high. Again, if you use the trade module, you just click on this bar button here. If I had live data coming in here, you can see this trade module will be active, and then this would trail just above the bar highs for you. If we now skip forward, we can see we would have been stopped out there, but just look at that. Go to the end of the day there, and just look where that decision point level came in. It actually came in at the low of the day. So in other words, our decision point levels, this on the higher time frame 15-minute chart, this one here, the DP off the start of the 5-wave sequence, basically nailed the high of the day and then nailed the low of the day for you. But in particular, coming back to the question I asked right at the start of the video, is can you buy or sell the high or low of the day? Well, here's the answer to that question. There's our automatic DP sell coming in at the very bar of the high of the day. But the important point here is we don't do this any old place. We only tend to take trade setups on the shorter time frame charts, in this example the 3-minute, when it coincides with the higher time frame resistance. And remember, that decision point level was on the chart in advance. I told you all I'd show you where it came from on the 15-minute chart, so let's go back to that. I'll just clear that off. And if I go back to before the market even opened yesterday, there it was. Here's our last pivot high. You can see it's a clear swing to the low. There's our last pivot high. Right mouse click. That's where the missed. That's where the decision point came from. So there it was on the chart in advance. And as we can see, when the market went up, hit that high absolutely perfectly and then declined down. In other words, that was on the chart in there ready waiting for you, and that's what set up that particular trade setup there, which, as we've already shown, managed to take a trade setup off the bar of the high of the day, and at very least a 10R profit, or if you're using the DP off the start of the 5-wave sequence as I indicated down here, if you'd managed to catch that low there, your 9R profit would have been increased a little bit more to approximately 10.7R, or nearly 11R return. So a very, very, very good trade. But the whole idea of this video is, can you buy or sell the highs or lows of the day? And the answer is with using the MTPredictor tools, the answer is yes.